I've made a lot of videos on isekai manga, but I know many of you prefer fantasy works without the isekai genre. There's plenty of works like that out there, and I know a lot of you know them all, so I decided to compile a list with the most unknown works out there. Obviously, it would be impossible for me to find 10 works that nobody has ever read, but I can bet there will be 1 or 2 on this list that you haven't read. So let me know in the comments which ones you haven't read and which ones you are going to read. If this video helps you out or if you simply want to help, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe if you're a fan of anime, manga or manhwa content. Without further delay, let's get into the top 10. Number 10 comes with I think I'll hide my true ability to the last moment. A world where you can contract with gods and gain skills. Born as the third son of a famous knight family, the main character was so busy controlling his innate power that was eventually called incompetent. However, in the Magical Knight Academy, where he was enrolled for some reason, he fulfilled his fateful encounter with an unnamed god who was despised as incompetent like himself. He, who contracted with the goddess and named her Athena, secretly decided to make her the highest god and decided to get a little more serious. This story, even though it has your usual overpowering character, distinguishes itself in the little differences. For example, the main character hides his power because he doesn't want to hurt other people, but now he's using it for another person. There's also a bit of Aram, but so far it's not incredibly explored, so as long as it stays that way, I'm pretty okay with it. Overall, a different read, so give it a chance. In number 9 we have Konyakuhaki Sareta Reijou. Deep in the forest lives Alan, a wizard. He's called Demon Lord and feared by those around him. One day, while living out his life as a hermit, he finds a young girl named Charlotte, who collapsed in the forest. Although innocent, she was accused of committing evil deeds, and had her engagement annulled and was forced to flee her country. Upon hearing that, Alan recalled the bitter experience of being betrayed by a party he once believed to be his companions. Hearing the story of a 17-year-old exploitations, Alan decided, I'll let her live in my mansion and I'll teach her magic. Even though this is a fantasy list and overall this is a fantasy manga, it's more directed towards romance. I always try to recommend something for everybody, and I know some of you enjoy the romantical fantasy type of work, so here you have it. Although I don't usually go for romance works, this one is really good. Very wholesome, with a nice plot, some magic and not much drama overall. It's an enjoyable read that you should try. Number 8 comes with the most notorious stalker runs the world's greatest clan. Noel is a young man who admires his grandfather, who was hailed as a hero, and aspires to be the strongest seeker. But when he's appraised, he's given the job Talker, a support job that can't be used in battle. It works well in a handful of conditions, but will mean that Noel will never become strong. Refusing to be defeated by this cruel twist of fate, he resolves to become the leader of the strongest clan ever. On one hand, the merciless methods he employs for the sake of his ambitions are acknowledged by all as evil. But on the other hand, his distinct talents attract many powerful people who begin to gather under him. From all the works on this list, I would say this is the one I enjoyed the most and the one I would also recommend the most. Of course, the story is amazing, the art is beautiful, but the one reason that makes his story so great is the main character. He's almost villain-like. He does what he needs to do and won't let anyone walk over him. And that is shown since the early chapters. Now, if you want an amazing and different fantasy story with an absolutely amazing main character, go read this work right now. In number 7 we have Call to Adventure defeating dungeons with a skill board. It's been 5 years since strange dungeons opened up around the earth, spilling monsters into our world. Average citizens everywhere have risen to the challenge to become adventurers, fighting these fantasy creatures and clearing out dungeons as best as they can. Among them is our main character, a 27-year-old rookie overlooked by everyone and less than successful at beating monsters and finding treasure. Unsure how he can compete with much powerful adventurers, an opportunity is dropped into his lab. A dungeon suddenly appears right beneath his home. Could this be a place for him to train? Even better, he discovers a skill board that allows him to level up faster. The dungeon diving adventures he has always dreamed of are just getting started. This is a bit of a dungeon leveling up systems, but in a manga format. But it's done very well. The main character is actually reasonable, which means he doesn't make stupid decisions and doesn't follow the usual cliches. The side characters are also fine since none of them is over the top annoying, and overall the art and story are very clean. It's a great story if you like this subgenre, so give it a chance. Number 6 comes with a mysterious job called Oda Nobunaga. In this world, on the day that they reach adulthood, everyone visits the temple to receive their life's calling. Many will become warriors or magic users. But when the younger brother of a feudal lord goes in for his job, he comes out with Oda Nobunaga. Not only has that job never been heard of, not a single person can even figure out what it's supposed to mean. But when this young man inherits the experience, tactics and prowess in the war of the great Sengoku strategist Nobunaga, his very destiny will change. Obviously, this is not unheard of, a main character getting a special job or even getting a powerful job while nobody recognizes it. What truly makes it different is the job itself. It doesn't make the main character all powerful or anything, it just makes him a great strategist. And in a world full of war, that's the most powerful job. There's a few things I didn't enjoy, like in later chapters this turning into an harem, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the story and the battles are good. So read it if you must, and if you don't like harem, I understand. Number 5 comes with Quality Assurance in Another World. Nicola is just a village girl working at an inn, until the day dragons invade and she meets Aga, a scholar of everything around him. He's a part of an elite society called Seeker, created to address a series of maladies plaguing their usually peaceful world. But both Nicola and Haga have secrets they hide, ones that will change each other's very existence. To give you a better understanding, this is a video game, and almost all the characters, at least the relevant ones, are debuggers. But the twist is that they got trapped in the game. And while most of the debuggers went on a power-hungry rage, Haga kept doing his job every day. As you can see, while it has some points that are similar to other works, in general this is a very creative story and as such it's a pleasure to read. The art is also a major part of the story since it's incredible, and without a doubt makes this work an even more incredible read. This is something you don't want to pass, so give it a try. Number 4 comes with Valhallian the Black Iron. When he woke up, the main character, a samurai from Kamakura who had survived the Mongolian invasion, had found himself in an unfamiliar place. He was told by Irst, the girl who brought him over, that they are in Valhalla, a place where the souls of dead warriors congregate. In order for him to be revived, he now has no choice but to fight against dead warriors from different eras in this mythical place of carnage that he's been thrown into. This is the start of a samurai drama where one has to fight and strike down their enemies, even if he kills them. This one is pretty similar to Records of Ragnarok, so if by any chance you enjoy that work, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one too. The art also helps the story a lot and makes the fight between these known historical figures so much more appealing. I don't have much more to say, but definitely give this work a shot. In number 3 we have Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Elf mage Frieren and her courageous fellow adventurers have defeated the Demon King and brought peace to the land. With the great struggle over, they all go their separate ways to live a quiet life. But as an elf, Frieren, nearly immortal, will long outlive the rest of her former party. How will she come to terms with the mortality of her friends? And how can she find fulfillment in her own life, and can she learn to understand what life means to the humans around her? Frieren begins a new journey to find the answers. This is a different type of fantasy. While you still have your normal elements of magic, swords, adventure, this work has a more dark and serious tone. This work depicts the struggle of the main character to come to terms with the mortality of humans and how they perceive time. While it has a more calming tone than most fantasy works, it also has various sad but beautiful moments. If you're looking for a work full of action, this is not it, but it's an incredible fantasy story. Number 2 comes with Jigoku no Gouka de Yaka. Hellfire, one sealed unquenchable fire whose fierce flames can burn the entire world to the ground. Flare is an ordinary guy who lives in a border village, and is sacrificed to an out-of-control fire. Experiencing inhuman torments in Hellfire, he would seem to have no chance of surviving. But wait a minute, he's not dying. Had he endured the fury of Hellfire, Flare literally rose from the ashes and returned to the world of the living, gaining the ability to control the Hellfire. The main character burns for 1,000 years and comes back, only to find out that everyone he knew is dead. While I don't personally enjoy this character that much, because he's a bit dumb, he's indeed the typical shonen character that is always happy and positive. I do have to warn you that this work mentions a lot of religions, and while that's not a bother for me, it might be for some of you, so make sure to be aware. Besides that, it's a great work, so give it a try. And in number 1 we have Weakest Occupation Blacksmith became the strongest. The people of this world are given occupations and weapons called divine treasures by God. It was said that the treasures were very strong and couldn't be compared to the human-made weapons. That's why occupations which were called Blacksmith, who can make and modify weapons, are called the weakest. The main protagonist has acquired such a weak job. He gave up on becoming an adventurer and worked in an inn, but he realized that he can make anything. This is your so very typical cliche of a manga, but truth be told, I enjoy them. The main character has an occupation which is deemed the weakest, but he finds out some aspects about it that make it the strongest. While this manga is not focused on action, I still enjoy the main character being overpowered in these type of professions. If you think you would enjoy something like this, then definitely give it a chance. Now guys, this was the fantasy manga I bet you haven't read. Did you find any manga that you haven't read yet? Did you like it? If this video helped you in any way, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss any video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.